Oh boy, here come the Cardinals again. They disappointed me last season, but this season sees them face an easier schedule, at least as of now, with a splash of a trade and some under-the-radar pitching acquisitions. When it comes to their lineup, it's a really solid one. They ended up bringing Marcell Ozuna in to add another element to the lineup, add some more power and contact and all of that. They do have Dexter Fowler also, and Tommy Pham and Matt Carpenter, and then there's Paul DeJong and Jed Jerko, Colton Wong. So this lineup is actually really good. I like what they have and what they did to add to it with Marcell Ozuna and how they got Tommy Pham to become really good last season. Now, it is Busch Stadium, so I'm not sure how Marcell Ozuna is going to fare as well as he did. I mean, to be fair, he did hit really well in Marlins Park. So I can imagine him doing slightly better in St. Louis, maybe not considering where he's hitting, but this lineup gets a grade of an A-. In terms of their depth, they got Francisco Pena and Yairo Munoz. As part of that Stephen Piscotty trade, they got Yairo Munoz. Pena was a free agent acquisition, so pretty solid guys there. And they also have Jose Martinez, another good depth guy, another really good guy to have as a depth piece. And then in terms of the minors, they have Carson Kelly, a top prospect that could come up this year. He's projected to come up this year at least. Then there's also Luke Voigt, another pretty good first base left field type of guy. And there's Breivik Valera, a good utility guy that could come up. Max Schrock is also a guy that I like a lot, and I think he'll be good once he finally gets it together, or once he's able to get it together, because he's still fairly young. Really good contact hitter and potential base stealer also, so nice acquisition for the Cardinals right there. And then there's Wilfredo Tovar and Alex Mejia, and there's also Harrison Bader, a guy that's another prospect that could be brought up this year, one of their top prospects in their farm system, Oscar Mercado. And then there's also Tyler O'Neill, another top prospect that could come up this year. So the Cardinals have pretty good depth also. So I'm going to give their depth a grade of a B+. I had it as a B before going into this video, but now it's at a B+. And so now when it comes to their rotation, they have a really good one also. Miles Mikolas should be very good. Oh, he should be good. I shouldn't say very good. But Carlos Martinez is a guy that should be very good. Michael Wacha and Luke Weaver should also be solid. And then there's also Adam Wainwright. Not what he used to be, but should still be pretty good. And then Miles Mikolas, like I mentioned earlier. And then if Alex Reyes comes back this year, that'll be an excellent addition to the rotation. And that'll push this rotation to be one of the best in Major League Baseball. And that's a kind of a top statement, but at least it'll be at least top 10 at that point, if it's not already. So in terms of other guys that could be brought up, there's Jack Flaherty and Ryan Helsley, a couple of really good prospects that could be brought up. Also Dakota Hudson, some prospects that could be brought up this year that are projected to be brought up this year. So the Cardinals have an excellent rotation. It's at a B+ as of right now, just because the Major League rotation still has a couple of guys that should look to prove themselves before I put them higher than a B+. Now they are solid, but they're not at that elite level yet. So we'll see how things go with Miles Mikolas and Luke Weaver and Adam Wainwright and Michael Wacha even. And if Alex Reyes comes back, then I will happily put them at an A- grade. And then when it comes to their bullpen, they picked up Luke Gregerson, a nice acquisition. And then there's also Dominique Leone, whom they acquired from the Randall Grichuk trade. Another really nice acquisition to go along with Tyler Lyons and Bud Norris. Bud Norris didn't really have a good second half, but he did well in the first half. And then there's Brett Cecil and Matt Bowman. And I mean, they might add on to that, but as of right now, this bullpen gets a B+ grade from me. So the Cardinals roster is really, really nice, and I don't see how this team doesn't make the playoffs this year. And I mean, they ended up reloading and finding proper reinforcements this past offseason. So I'm high on the Cardinals this year, and I mean, they could even steal the division away from the Cubs. We'll see how that goes. Cardinal fans will appreciate that if that does happen. And yeah, I mean, really good roster. Cardinals made some moves this offseason and look to return to the postseason this year since they faced the weak AL Central this year for interleague play instead of the AL East. They have the proper amount of depth to do some things this season and make the playoffs, and on top of that, they will still have the opportunity to get more under the radar talent in the regular season and be a dangerous squad once more. It all is a wonderful sight to behold. Fuck Marcell Ozuna. In terms of the over-under for this team, it's at 87-75 from Fangraphs, and my prediction is over at 93-69, second in the NL Central and the top wildcard spot in the National League. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if I missed something key about this team or if I'm overrating them. It is a predictions video, so I mean, that's what predictions are all about, discussion and debates. So let me know, and that'll do it for this Cardinals edition of the 2018 MLB season previews for every single team, and so long.